by a Val. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Okay, I would like to open up the Georgetown Planning Board meeting for Wednesday, October 8th, 2014. And we'll begin with the approval of minutes, August 27th, 2014. Anybody?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the August 27, 2014 minutes.
Second?
There's been a motion and it's been seconded to approve August 27th, 2014 minutes. Any discussion?
These
Yes.
were presented to the board at the last meeting for informational purposes, so there was a couple revisions made by the planning office from those versions. And so what's presented are here.
All right.
Mary Ellen just went through and
This is corrected?
double checked some stuff, right?
I think I saw one thing,
It's
and
where?
it
I
was like
didn't see it.
minimalist.
Do you have another printout, or did you print it out, the adjustments or amendments, changes?
They're in here.
In the
This is it?
PDF.
This is what you've got
Right.
in your package.
Oh, I thought
Those
you,
are
the way you were
the
saying
final
it,
ones.
okay. That's a question. Let me start out, Mr. Chairman. I remember you asking, do we have this straight about the minutes? And I said yes, and my straight was a little different than what Howard had written in your comments about minutes.
Okay,
And, can we clear that up for me?
So is
Anyway,
it-
I don't know if anybody else got it.
About the format of the minutes?
Yeah, I don't-
Okay, what I'd like to do is I'd like to put that into member or public report, okay?
All
And
right,
we'll
well,
just
I have-
approve- Yep, and we'll just approve minutes or make changes to them as they are
Okay,
right
because it
now.
doesn't matter one way or the other with,
Yeah.
to me, but I thought it was a little different the way Harry had ran it, that's all. All right, August 27th, I have, line 52.
Line 52 is blank in my copy.
Yeah,
Mine says HS, shared a brief history.
it
with
says
the
shared a brief
board.
history with the board.
yeah. and-
Line 52?
Right, I thought
Have a
there,
different,
we
Yeah,
could.
August 20th.
Are you looking
August
at the
20.
September or the August ones?
Oh, I'm sorry, September 24th.
Yeah,
That'll do it.
Howard Snyder shared a brief history with the board and discussed his solution to this request with Harry L., which was an OSRD and subdivision process whereby the planning board can waive the frontage for the two lots. Number 56.
And you have those written down?
Yeah, I
Which
got
is
'em all.
great, because you can give them to them when you fill.
Okay.
Well, we'll go to the DVD and just confirm what I said.
Sure. 56, let me see.
56 is blank on my copy.
Howard Snyder explained that to satisfy Concom, the driveway was being moved away from the vernal pool.
I don't even have a
Alright, where's
56.
56.
It's not there, but I thought that's where it was transpired. I just thought,
Okay, gotcha.
these are,
Well-
to my mind, these are the
Keep-
things that I thought should have been in the minutes, but,
Keep in mind that they sort of blew us all away anyway by, doing what they did, so
maybe so.
kind of a moot point, really.
Well, I don't know, but the way that parcel has been haunting the boards, you never think it's gonna go away. At least I don't. Anyway, number 59. Right there is another blank one. TE and the building inspector recommended another A&R process eliminating the subdivision plan. Number 7.
TE? Who is TE?
Me.
Oh, okay. I have to be
Well,
honest
I'm
with
trying
you,
to
I'm not
follow
wild
what's the
about
way she did it.
whole,
Okay.
initials thing.
75.
I'm not wild about it,
it.
really not.
We'll get into, we'll get into the minutes discussion then, about that kind of stuff, which is good.
Sure.
I'll bring it up later.
And then 75, there was 2 abutters that spoke at that hearing, or meeting, rather, it was. Ray Dennis and Lee Crosby expressed support of one house on parcel instead of subdivision. There were no comments from the board. 115. Jim Howard suggested more edits. He questioned no cut areas. That was his thing. 77, I had board discussion on town council review to determine which process was correct.
77?
Going back.
Going back to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
page 2?
Yeah, right, I went back.
Okay.
The board discussion on town council review to determine which process was correct. 133. Which is blank. HL asked when revised plans submitted and developer said 2 weeks ago, however, Howard Snyder, HS did not recall receiving them. 143, the board discussion on when town would accept trees, warranty subject to highway surveyor and in the regs. 164,
If I may, maybe the appropriate thing for me to do would be to withdraw my motion to approve these. It sounds like we have massive edits, and it sounds like they should be
Tilly
delivered.
can hand those to us and we'll
Yeah.
confirm.
I
Okay.
mean, that way we can look at them all and see what they all say.
whatever you desire, I don't care.
Yeah, I think that would be more.
You wanna hand us
Effective.
the notes and we'll,
All right, these are for
Confirm
both
that's
of them.
probably a
They're
better way
for
to go.
September
we'll just take
24th
the 27th.
and September 24th.
The only change I had was just a word on line 275. Withdrew his request, and it just says quest.
275.
Oh, his quest,
Yeah,
yep.
okay. That was the only thing I found.
Another spell check down.
Robert, did you have any on this one?
Nope.
Okay.
With that in mind, maybe I'll make a motion to approve the September 24th, 2015 minutes.
September 27th.
Oh, it says 24.
The next,
September 24th, okay, sorry.
okay, I didn't have as many as I did for this one, but if you wanted me to do the same thing, hand it over. I have
No, we,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
okay.
that's it.
Well, if
Want
they're
me to-
minimal, then I'd like these approved tonight, so.
Okay.
I didn't, there's no page 4 in my
Yeah.
packet.
Oh, I'm not the only one.
I wouldn't,
have it.
I really,
printed it. I printed it if you wanna see it, because I have a big mistake there.
okay.
And again, it relates back to those letters instead of names.
Well, they're on the electronic copy, weren't they?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're in the
All right.
electronic copy.
Am I still on the floor table or?
So we're on September's.
Yeah,
Yep.
24th.
Yep.
All right, number 27. Where it's blank, I thought you should put in, Rob Hoover discussed the new meeting format on minutes, which I thought was the new format. But, okay, 92. Where you have no justify refusing,
Not to justify.
I put not. That's just a keying error. 104 was, for the motion was approved, you put the, even though I had abstained, you put my one down there, and then Rob's was the other one, so there should have been, just add the one.
You're picking up all the same ones I found. so-
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Good. Oh, I didn't, see, I didn't have
You didn't
page
have-
4 either. 157, I have, Rob Hoover questioned several conditions in the draft site decision which were not relevant nor accurate to this application, but were repetition of the Honeydew approved site application in the same shopping complex. 191, I have, where it says want to build the house, it was the affordable house, just add affordable. 245. 245. Oh, that was the puzzle to me. That was, I added, does not have reconsider in the second vote. Nothing on that, concerning that vote mentioned reconsider vote. So I thought that should be in there.
Well, what I saw was, before we adjourn, not adjourned,
Well, you can look at it and see where
Not
you want
locked
to put
in
it.
any public hearing at this time. On 246.
I will say that was verbatim, off the tape. I know that.
Verbatim, I don't think it was, and the only reason I thought it wasn't, I think I told you, is that the board had agreed to have town council review the process for reconsidering the vote. And I thought that was relevant and should be there, because we had asked
Bear
town
in mind,
council.
I never used the word reconsider
Yes,
because
you
I.
did.
No, I never did, Tilly, because I understand the ramifications of a reconsideration, and I was not voting in the, I voted
In fact,
in
you
the
said
negative.
more than even what's in here, when I recall, because
Oh.
you were talking about a town meeting, this is not a town meeting.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like
All
that.
the
but I-
reasons that the town council
Well-
stated that made this vote legitimate, I had avoided all the pitfalls of Robert's rules and town meeting and reconsideration. We don't deal with that.
Well,
We
you
deal, as
could
I
watch it.
believe I said, we deal with Rob's rules. He's the chair, he hears what he wishes to hear.
Well,
That's how the board runs, and thank goodness. Or we'd be in a pickle
we
right
can
now.
take that
Can you
too.
just
Sure.
clarify that again?
Sure.
So you hit all the ones I had.
The only one I have is line 124, knowing that Rob Hoover is an erudite gentleman, I don't think he would say. It seems to me the planning board is doing their job very good.
What-
That's my only comment.
124?
It wouldn't
We-
surprise me if that's
we
exactly what I said.
Do good we do.
I think he done good, but you know,
done
that's
good.
me. What can I
Gotta
tell
have
you?
somebody that says that, huh?
No, that's my only, that's it.
So, we had a motion to approve, the September meeting minutes.
I only had one other, the missing page, page number 4, is, and I believe, it's line 158, where it says HL made a motion to approve the decision. I wasn't in the room. I left that room.
Oh, that's the one,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right, I
That's
questioned
on-
that, I
That's
forgot
missing,
that one.
but for your.
Oh, yeah. So it was
Yeah,
you.
I wasn't in the room, so
No.
I have no idea who made the motion.
Right, and it says you removed yourself from the room, yeah.
And then it says later on that I returned.
Yep.
Okay,
So I don't know who made the motion.
Sure.
Okay, so there's been a motion to approve the minutes of September 24th, 2014 with the amendments as noted. Any further discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so then just the 24th, the August ones?
August
come back?
27th, yep. That, you'll pass those over till the 22nd.
Correspondence.
In the correspondence, I included a letter that was presented to the board at the last meeting from H.L. Graham Associates. It's their final report, D7. And just a cursory notice from the town of Raleigh about a site plan review on 4 Main Street.
Just, since Turning Leaf was mentioned, have they been, I'm sure they've been appraised of the revote and
Yeah.
what transpired, and they're all set?
Yeah, they're in appeal period right now.
Okay.
So.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers in the total of $252.21.
Second?
Okay, there's been a motion to approve the vouchers in the total amount of $252.21, and it's been seconded by Bob. Any discussion?
Yes, I do. I know we had approved for Howard and Mary Ellen to go to the training, which I applaud them. I think that's great, because you can always pick up stuff. But when I saw,
Where are you talking to?
I'm looking at the
On the second
voucher.
voucher, yeah.
Citizens
Yes.
Training Plan.
This isn't planner
Yeah.
training?
That's not the one I just made a motion to approve.
Oh, excuse
Yeah,
me, I thought you
there
did
was
all of
both.
them.
You did both for
252
252.
something?
Did I do 252?
Yeah.
Yeah.
21.
Oh, I did them both. Oh, did I slide that in?
Yeah.
Nicely slid.
take a drink of
And it was seconded.
H2O. What I was concerned about when I saw that one of the classes that Mary Ellen has taken is at Oak Bluffs. You know, that's, you know, I think it's great we pay for the $30, but your transportation, I don't think it's fair to have the taxpayers pay that.
Nobody asked you to.
Well, that's what I wanna
All you're
know.
paying is $30 for a class. It was included.
Okay, so no transportation. All right. You got your own
Your
plane?
family estate's down there,
I
so you got a
didn't-
place to
yeah,
stay,
Is that it?
I
right?
didn't expect you to.
A family is, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I thought we always did pay travel expenses.
I was just gonna say just the opposite, like, I thought we
Yeah.
did pay travel expenses.
Generally,
Usually pay mileage.
Howard's we did.
Well,
But this is
whoever,
down-
but Mary Ellen's not requesting it, she's just requesting payment for the
Yeah.
class. so.
That's right.
Well,
This is,
I think next time you should consider getting reimbursed for travel.
Well, I can for the local ones. I'm taking one in
Martha's Vineyard.
Haverhill.
Huh?
This one is in Martha's Vineyard.
Right. The
8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
the reason I'm taking that is so I can get my certification, which will lower the insurance.
MIIA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I think it's certainly worth discussions when you have that opportunity to put it on the
that's
table.
fine. I
Let
didn't
us
expect the Oak
understand.
Bluffs one.
Understand.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
any other discussion? Okay, so seeing no other discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? That is unanimous. Public hearings. Howard, you wanna start that bugger?
Notice in the paper was the public hearing for the special town meeting amendments to the zoning chapter 165 bylaw use regulations and use schedule. Just hold on a moment. In accordance with the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 5, the Georgetown Planning Board will hold a public hearing on October 8th, 2014 at 7:15 in the third floor meeting room, Georgetown Town Hall, 1 Library Street, Georgetown, Mass. To consider the following proposed amendments to Chapter 165 zoning bylaws in the town of Georgetown. Chapter 165-7 definitions, to see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw by removing, inserting, or replacing the existing definitions concerning the following: planned unit development, remove, open space residential development, insert, and medical office insert. Open space residential development being defined as method of planning residential development that would conserve open space in a manner that maximizes protection of natural resources, wetlands, forest, agricultural lands, open space, while providing the new construction and adequate compensating landowners. Medical office, suite of rooms including a laboratory where a physician or group of medical practitioners receive and treat patients on an ongoing basis and otherwise provide health services to consumers. Chapter 165-11, use regulations and intensity of use schedule. I'm just gonna note that the amendment was to remove the category of other uses. And currently in our bylaw, under other uses is commercial radio and television transmission, signs, temporary structures, pipe organ making, housing for the elderly. And the public hearing was to consider inserting pipe organ making and signs under business uses, temporary structures under rural uses, and commercial radio and television transmission under industrial uses, with housing for the elderly being removed from the regulations and intensity of use schedule. This was published in the Georgetown Record on September 19th and September 26th. And since the public hearing is open, I'll mention that we had a technicality in noticing for the whenever there is going to be changes to a municipal bylaw, it's required that a Form 7 be filled out, and that Form 7 is mailed to the Merrimack Valley Committee commission and the 5 bordering municipalities, as well as to the Attorney General's office. And I'm sorry, Attorney General's office, but it also needs to be recorded down the clerk's office. And the same day we did all the mailings, there was a accident where we didn't file it with the town clerk, where it wasn't date stamped, and so the Attorney General, if we're to proceed with this for special town meeting, would end up not approving this, because they would have the belief that this wasn't properly noticed to the public of the hearing. So my recommendation is to open the public hearing, continue it to a November meeting, and then just start preparing for annual town meeting.
Do you know what the date again is, that November meeting is?
It's the only one in November, which will be the 12th.
May I make a suggestion?
It's right there. Go ahead.
November, that would be the only one in November, right?
For a
So
public,
Maybe
far, we only have
January
one.
would be the, when we could really focus on it. Because we'll
Okay.
have 2 meetings in January.
I don't think you can have it, excuse me, I don't think you can have, there's something about 65 days.
if you approve, and it's on the warrant, but the town meeting is not held, then you have 6 months for a town meeting to be held for the citizens to approve. And this is what happened with the medical marijuana bylaw.
I
But
think
if
it's
we
less than-
open the public hearing
Hmm.
and we continue it, then we can be prepared for
I thi-
annual town meeting.
I think it's less than 6 months. You can check that out. I think
You,
it's 60.
you have 6 months till the end of your public hearing and when the warrant is made. So it's not an issue if we open the public hearing now and we continue it to January and then prepare for May.
Yeah, if we find out that
Oh,
it's
you
less
have to
time,
open.
continue it.
we
Yeah.
can always
Okay,
continue
that's how you wanna do it,
again,
okay.
right?
I just didn't want the board to have to open this, close it,
Yeah,
and then have to republish it.
Yeah, it's a good idea, save the money. Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing to January 28th, 2015,
January 14th, is it?
28th.
28th,
Might not be able to make the 14th.
all right.
so you're gonna have to redo the legal ad again and,
No, because it's a public hearing that's being continued.
I guess it's not happening at all, no one seems to be seconding it.
I'll second it.
Oh,
Are we gonna-
How's that?
All right, there's been a motion to move, to continue the special, for the amendment of zoning chapter 165 bylaw to the January 28th, 2014 meeting.
15.
this,
Um,
excuse me.
January 20th.
15.
Tilly, if we were to open and close the meeting
Yeah.
and then decide to pick this up for annual town meeting, we would have to republish it. But because we're just continuing with the public hearing, then we don't need to renotice.
So you're gonna keep continuing it rather than doing a legal ad all over again and then,
I'll
I
confirm all
checked.
that with town clerk.
yeah. Now, this is the same process for all the hearings. So you've been doing the same thing. When you do a legal ad, it has to be before 14 days. For any hearing, has to be done prior to after before.
Greater than 14 days.
That's it. Greater than 14 days. So every hearing that we've had, have you been following that? Because that's required. It's not.
I don't need to republish for a public hearing that's been continued.
I know, I understand that, but I mean, for the previous hearings that we have had, we've already finished, every hearing that you have to follow the same process.
I do.
Oh, that's what I'm asking. Good,
Okay.
good.
Okay, do
All in favor?
you want to say anything?
Oh, just- I don't know how to call the question or whatever. I don't know.
Okay, no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Unanimous.
They used to have a chart and we put it up on the wall so that it's so easy to do is miss your days. And just stick it up on the wall so that you can check so that you know.
Yeah,
that-
that's why I used the Form 7.
Yeah, that Form 7 is
because
pretty
the
cool.
Form 7 needs to be submitted to the Attorney General.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It's a
but
good check
gives
off.
you, you know, that's what we used to do.
It's a good check.
Do they still have the charts?
Okay, how about member or public reports? So I think there was some discussion here on meeting minutes.
Yeah.
I can stop the initials.
Do the initials mess up anybody? They mess me up.
I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other,
Yeah.
so whatever the board wants, I'm fine with.
Could we do first initial, last names? They're just, they're Mr. and
Sure,
Mrs. and
sure,
Ms. thing.
absolutely,
Oh,
yes.
forget
It's a
that.
little archaic.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, in the way that Wendy did it was
Yeah.
she did this thing in Word where wherever she typed in HL, it automatically did an autofill of.
Sure.
So you can do
Hotkey.
that in the Word.
Yeah,
so.
it
Oh,
was,
hockey, yes, I
it
would.
really wasn't my time, it was the Ms. and the Mr. just seemed
Mm-hmm.
19th century.
I have no problem with last
No.
names.
I have no problem with initials.
Okay.
However you wanna do
Well,
it.
mine is the problem, well, mine is
I'm
pretty
not
long.
liking TE because we
You could
use
write
technical
Tilly.
review engineer. I see TE, I think Larry Graham,
Okay.
Do
because
you?
he's the technical engineer.
Oh.
So how about, so,
And these mnemonics are blowing me away.
so it sounds like you can go either way with this, I can go
think
either
your
way,
suggestion is good.
and you can go,
And
so,
I would suggest an initial because there has been,
Yeah.
we've had some good laughs about Tim Howard and Howard. So if it just says that without the initial, it may be confusion.
I like the autofill.
agree.
I think that's a good suggestion, because that's
Oh, yeah.
quick and that's,
And I don't mind writing B. Watts, you know, it's not gonna kill me, it's really was to try to get a little more
I'm good with
modern.
however.
okay,
the
so that would be
consensus.
the conclusion to that then, we'll just do initial last name?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything else that you had there?
Um,
About meetings?
not with respect to meetings, no.
Okay, I know you did.
Oh,
No?
okay.
Okay, Tilly.
Then I
You're
wanted
on.
you to explain, what do you want, Rob, for minutes?
Well, I want what, as far as minutes, I know what I personally want, but I wanna do what the, board also wants. So
Doesn't
I-
matter.
I think minutes should be talking about what was said, should talk about the vote that was taken, and the general subjects that were, covered. I don't think it should be a transcript. I think if a transcript is what we're looking for that kind of information, I think then it is on whoever is looking for that information to turn to the
TV.
TV and the
Sure.
tapes, because that has it all there, so it's kind of like we're doing that work, and it doesn't need to be done, because we do have the information. And it frees that time up for Mary Ellen to do, something else, and I think meeting minutes shouldn't take up a lot of time in a,
Well, the way Wendy was doing it,
That's me.
are you doing it the same way? You were editing what Wendy was doing? Did you keep?
No, well, I with Wendy, I did less and less editing because she was becoming more and more adept at it.
Yeah,
And Mary Ellen just has the expertise to do the minutes, so I'm not.
so that's good.
I mean,
So
I
your
read through
time
them
is-
and understand that the flow is there.
Yeah,
but, I'm
that's
not spending
good,
a lot of
because I
time.
want you to be doing planning.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a master's in this, we gotta use you.
Right. Right.
so,
My question though was, do you want us to put it in before, or like you had written it up in your comments of
how to handle changes?
sending it in earlier, and then he was going to print it for the meeting to approve it? The final one?
I believe it's in the best interest and it's been discussed before, that all the edits happen at the meeting.
At the meeting,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it
They-
was.
They need to happen at the meeting, and, I
right,
think,
that's all I wanted to
think
know.
what each board member has to, I think, try to strive for is to, not get caught up in the minute details of the text and the transcript notion of what's being said.
I agree.
And, it's gonna take a little while, I think, to change over, to a format of meeting minutes that aren't the way perhaps they used to be, but,
If I can add
we'll
to that,
eventually
Rob,
get there.
you and I are in agreement about the edits being done at the meeting. But Tilly brought up a couple of points that we need to go to the DVD. So if you had just sent to me, could you confirm this off the DVD, then we could actually have the text at the meeting. And it just, we can read
Okay.
it and the whole board can hear it and it can be approved.
All right.
That way, that would help instead of now having to go another 2 weeks out.
Okay, so then the policy would be, the informal policy would be that if you have these changes, to get them to you by a certain point in time, and you would then verify them?
If they're
Is that-
wholesale, if they're mega
if-
changes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In, not wholesale changes before the meeting, but if you review the packet or the electronic minutes, and you think that something is not written, or you request the text from the DVD to be available at the meeting, then if you said, well, could you, I asked Howard to confirm that off the DVD, and I'll have the text here. So,
Are you going to be able to, though? My concern is that with everything you have going on leading up to a meeting, that you're gonna be getting these things, that it's gonna take you away from,
no, I don't
I
think
can
it's a
do it.
problem,
You
because
don't
you
think
can
it
just
is?
plug in the DVD and you can search for it. It'll take, I think the 2 DVD elements that we need to look at will take maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
And that's unusual to get them, but
Okay.
if there was a concern about what the specifics of what the motion was in terms of text, and I think that's one of Tilly's concerns, that we'll have a transcript of that motion here, so it can be clarified of what it was
Yeah.
said.
I'm not big on the verbatim, with
Okay.
the exception of the motion.
well, that's,
The
the
motion,
That's the-
in my mind,
The
must be.
requirement, you
yeah.
have to do that,
That
but you
needs
have
to be
to,
very specific.
motion and the vote.
you have to
Yeah.
write, Harry,
Basic
why
subject.
you voted like that, and the discussion sometimes leads you with that knowledge.
Why I lost you.
You know, like, that's what, it's not verbatim. It's only the critical areas that I picked up. And the reason I went through the DVD is because page 4 was missing. So I pulled it up. And that's, usually I don't have to do that, because you
Right.
do that.
May I ask
Or
a
she does
question
it.
though? Because I'm just curious, as far as what is the definition of critical areas leading up to a vote?
Well,
Yeah,
you're, well,
That's
you,
verbatim, and then you
Yeah.
leave it to your administrative assistant to pick and choose who has important insights.
it's going, it's a
That's
subjective call, and that's where it gets, it's a slippery slope.
And then it gets
Well,
to
this
be,
is-
well, okay, everybody made some good comments, so then all of a sudden I'm adding everybody's comments, and then,
And how far back do
and
you
how
go?
far back do I go? And Tilly had brought up an example of a vote that happened, and she said that Harry said something differently. But if you listen to the DVD, there was multiple conversations going on at the end of that
Oh,
vote too.
sure.
So once again, who do I
Yeah.
listen to verbatim, and who do we? So basically,
You
open
leave that
meeting-
for someone to review the DVD.
Oh,
yeah, and open
That-
meeting law says that, it's the motion and the vote.
Absolutely.
it
Yeah.
says.
Doesn't need to
you
be
mu-
anything else in
since
there.
you- The open
Nothing
meeting
else.
law says, a public body shall create and maintain accurate minutes of all meetings, including executive sessions, setting forth the date, time, and place, the members present or absent, a summary of the discussions on each subject, a list of documents and other exhibits used at the meeting, the decisions made and the actions taken at each meeting, including the record of all votes.
That's it.
So that's,
But
that's.
one,
the time of
one thing
adjournment.
that it doesn't say there is, that is the attribution of who said what,
Yeah.
Prior to a
just
vote.
It
the
talks- it says
discussion.
A summary.
Summary.
It says-
Summary.
it says
Summary.
of
It doesn't
all
say
those-
anything about one member name said, member A said this, member B said this. And that kind of draws me back to what's the purpose of this? Is this a legal document to protect the board that we never talked about this? Oh, yes, we did. Well, that's where the DVD comes in.
You strive to be consistent to all your decisions and all your reasons for it. Of course, every parcel and hearing has different criterias, but you kind of stay in that same pattern so that if, God forbid, you do get to court and somebody says, well, this wasn't done like this and it's the same situation as me, you've got the proof.
Well, I think,
You've got the proof.
but I think the proof is the DVD, and I think
Right.
that's what Bob is saying, and I agree with that.
That's good.
Yeah,
We
that's
can
why
have-
on the Mullins form, it says video or audio.
Right.
It doesn't say.
Yeah,
yes.
right. And so, you know, it's just a slippery slope when you start getting into this person said this and this person said that and what's important. And I think as that, I'm glad you read that, because it called it a summary. And
Yeah.
but a summary, though, is not who said what.
That's right. It's not
A
verbatim.
summary is, you know, this was discussed, motion was made, the motion was this, the vote was taken, the vote was this.
I have a funny feeling that by the time we get Mary Ellen her own little name tag, she's gonna be very, very good at summarizing our
And
discussion.
I think that.
Because I've already seen it. I've already seen it.
What
I've
we're
already
all-
seen elements of that.
What we're all trying to do is simplify this, the process
That's
and
right.
the review process. I mean, I jokingly called out a questionable grammar, but that's the kind of thing that we've done, and I don't think we want to do that.
No.
And just to let you know, I wasn't here for the August 27th meeting, so I did have to listen and stop and go through that whole DVD for a meeting I didn't attend. So that's what's interesting. But the format I started doing at the last meeting was when a motion was made, when somebody had input, I made sure that I followed the DVD at that particular moment. So I'm sorry, Rob, but I'm pretty sure you said good. So, but I did listen on those particular moments, and people get tired.
All right, let's go to the videotape.
Right, right.
Piqued my interest. Well, I think the
it's gonna be
conclusion,
all right.
I think the conclusion to this discussion about the meeting minutes is that we're trying to go to a more condensed format, a more simplified format, which is basically those three components of the motion, the vote, and a brief summary. And we're trying to get away from who, this person said this person said
Verbatim.
this, the transcript verbatim.
Can I just say, though, that I always try to look at minutes as a package, and I always try to put myself in the position of someone blowing the dust off a set of minutes
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
10 years old,
Yeah.
don't even know who TE and BW are, and just go, and I try, not that it would have to be verbatim, but give it a summary, which I think you're getting it, and a little bit of maybe the reasoning behind it. The discussion led to this or this,
Yeah.
and then a vote. It's a history. It's a little bit of a history, a story. It's a little story.
And I think this is gonna play out, and I think we're gonna, Howard's term of the boats turning slowly kind of thing, you know,
Right.
I think,
I wasn't
we're
at that
gonna-
meeting. I
we're
didn't
gonna-
hear
we're
him
gonna
say that.
get- We're gonna get there
I'll watch the
in that
video.
regard, but that too could be a slippery slope. But I hear what you're saying, and I think if I were, let's say I was wanting to find out, something 10 years from now, I would go to the meeting minutes first to find out where it happened, you know, and then what the vote was and what the subject was that was covered. And I would, if somebody had incredible minutes, I'd look at them, but I would not spend a ton of time on those, because I would, if I was going there to file a lawsuit or whatever, I would then immediately say, okay, here it is, it was this meeting, this is what was discussed, this was the vote, I now know where the DVD is, and then I'd go
Right.
grab it and I'd go look at it and spend my
Absolutely.
time with it.
And it's a really good tool for whatever your purpose is, and especially to make amendments. You know, when you look at other hearings and you remember, oh yeah, that's right, there was a problem with that. Now you've got something that verifies, this is why we need to do this amendment. You know,
I have a couple of questions. One is, how long do we keep DVDs? How are they kept? Are they,
That's a good
are they,
good question.
are they kept physically? Are they kept
We,
as a file
well, the
on a hard drive?
DVDs are relatively new,
Yes.
obviously. But there's, we go according to what the state requires for record keeping. And right now, down in the office, we've got a binder at Mary Ellen's desk that goes back at least, 7, 8 years. And
Of minutes?
Of the
The
DV of
DVDs.
planning board meeting. So if the broadcast happened before then we have
Yeah,
meeting minutes in hard copy.
What, so that's, so once, it's kinda like tax returns, after 7 years, you throw them out, kind of thing?
No,
We
There's
don't.
a schedule.
Yeah, there's a
meeting.
schedule to it, but a lot of, there's certain things you can dispose of after 7 years. There's certain things that can dispose of after 10, and then there's things that you can never dispose of. An example of never is approved subdivision plans, and we've got those dating back to the first one. But there's certain elements of vouchers and intakes that were processed 10, 12 years ago that
And where do meeting minutes fall within that camp?
I don't recall, but I
Forever.
didn't look because I'm just under the impression that you never get rid of them.
Yeah, you don't.
So,
And do we store, do we utilize Iron Mountain or some archival organization to make sure that if there's a fire, flood, or other thing that,
no, that's been a problem before.
well,
We utilize the wet
might that
hole down
not
the
be a
bay.
problem in the future? I mean,
Yeah.
global warming, rising waters.
The last,
If you've been to the dungeon.
the last at least 5 or 6 years of meeting minutes, once they're approved, they get generated as a PDF and then get posted on the website. And so the PDF is electronic data storage. And-
So our web provider, our web presence provider would have that.
We keep it, we have a PDF
Well, I don't
of the
think-
meeting minutes as
We,
well.
yeah, we have PDF on a server, which is backed up by the IT,
Right.
and then it's uploaded to Virtual Town Hall's website.
It's
so.
the server would have the backup, the website doesn't have.
Is there a
No.
cloud, perhaps that we could store this stuff?
Eventually, I'm sure we'll get there.
I think we want to do that. The other question is, if there is any database system to store information about individual subdivisions, A&Rs, other things, so that we can more easily see what's the history of this. And this came up with turning
Not
leaf as to
currently, but
when
moving
the meeting was closed.
moving forward, Mary Ellen's going to get trained on GOTMS, which is a permitting software program, and that's what Wendy had gone and gotten, and she had started. And so the
That's
building
awesome.
inspector's office has it, and actually ties in to different offices. Eventually, it's all going to be integral.
Integrated, that's
There's
great.
the
I think
tracking
that's
one. Is
great.
that the tracking one?
Yeah, the permit tracking, and once we have that up and running for projects moving forward, then we're slowly gonna start going back in time and creating the file that way, so the links can start happening.
Do you have any sense of a schedule for that taking place, when you take
As
class?
soon as I finish the other classes.
Yeah.
No, that's
When
good.
things slow down in November, December, it's a 6-7 hour training down
Taking
in
care of
Franklin.
that backlog sounds like summer intern. unpaid.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
So anything else on the meeting minutes?
You
Questions?
wanna do the handout?
All set?
No, I think we all,
I think we,
I think it's a good
Conclusion
discussion,
on that.
certainly a
Yeah,
good discussion.
absolutely.
I think we,
absolutely.
I like them, they look good.
I think,
clearer for me.
you know, I think that sort of dovetails into just putting on the table, not to get into discussion about it, but something we can talk about at another time, you know, procedures that the board wants to follow, Robert's rules and not Robert's rules. And to have at least the discussion, so that we're all aware of what's going on and make it official. So, you know, maybe at some point we can get on the agenda an item like that to talk about
In detail.
in detail.
Right.
I think it's a very good idea, very interesting idea too, because you really do want to strike a balance between very, very strict, narrow procedures and nothing. So that you do have a little bit of flexibility, but you don't have infinite flexibility.
I think it'll be an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Member concern?
I got
Are we
something
member
else.
concerned?
Yeah? Any others?
Oh, I got this for you, Howard. This is, the MS4 general permit?
Yeah,
It's your bag of weeks. That's October the 28th, they're having another forum
the
at
public,
Merrimack Valley?
yeah,
Oh, so you know about it?
I know about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
and it's, I started reading it, it's about 110 pages. So
That's why it's better you go.
Yeah, Concom does it, but I've been going through it to see if there's some major concerns, so.
Yeah, because it's gonna
I'm-
come
I'm just-
down.
It's not my skill set to recognize the changes done now and in the past, so definitely relying on Concom.
That's
for
Concom.
input.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have somebody explain it maybe
Historically.
to you if you.
Yeah,
might help.
absolutely, and it does come
Well,
into
that's-
play when we do our stormwater and everything else. So,
Right,
I'm just trying to at least get a overview of it, so when we start talking about stormwater and
Yeah.
the management plan and everything that town has, that I understand what the changes are.
right, great.
Will you be so kind as to remember to include that introduction to Robert's rules when you do
Mhm.
get that on the agenda?
Yeah.
That'd be helpful, thanks. So we're in planning office, was there,
Just one more thing of,
Yeah,
member report, we closed the public hearing for Main Street, how long ago? And we're waiting now for plans
Yeah.
still from them, is that correct?
Yeah,
No, I'm sorry, wait.
The park at Main Street?
the athletic field.
Oh,
Athletic
yeah,
field, Main Street, and we're still waiting for plans,
Final plans, so I
final
can
plans to be submitted?
do them against the
Yeah,
decision.
we've been just dragging our feet, huh?
what, have you talked to them?
No, it's been about 3 weeks, so Harry and I were talking about it today, and so it's tomorrow, I'm gonna call them up and see where are they. 3 weeks ago, when I informed them about the request for extension of time, they said we're just making sure that all the conditions that were stated during the meeting are reflected in the drawings.
Yeah.
But that was 3 weeks ago, so.
And you were,
They've had a hard time with that.
I have another thing, I remember it, BSC, that you were gonna get to inspect Turning Leaf, is that right? Did you?
Yeah, Dave Varga's gone but not forgotten. He's still around, and
Great.
and we forwarded him a final set of drawings for him at his home address. So
Wonderful, good for
he's
him.
going to be able to do the oversight, site inspection, everything else. So
Okay.
he's not fully retired.
You can't today.
This will be a
Got
big one
news
to
for ya.
finish on.
Has anything happened with the lights in the plaza at Dunkin' Donuts? I noticed, I was driving by one night and they were all on.
They came in and pulled a permit, and John Mativier, I believe, has gone over there, and they pulled a permit but haven't done the installation yet.
Oh.
But I can check up with him.
Because they are using the lights again, just very
Right.
curious. All right,
I'll have to check that out on the way out when it's dark.
well, sometimes they have one, sometimes they don't. Planning office.
I did have one, I'm sorry to interject. Did we communicate to Turning Leaf the status of their
Yes,
request?
yeah.
We sent them a candygram or something?
I told them about the reconsideration that happened after they left.
Wasn't a reconsideration?
Not a the board taking the matter back up, and then, I informed them when we got the legal counsel's opinion. But between those two things, I think she even went on YouTube and saw the meeting and saw what occurred, so.
Okay.
So you're in the, did you already do the final decision?
You signed the final decision at the meeting.
I did?
The board did, you didn't sign it.
Okay, I didn't know it was
Yeah,
where it was.
no,
So-
you and Rob did not sign it.
I thought it was
Turning Leaf
draft
is
on
done.
it, that's why I didn't.
It's in
s-
his 20-day appeal period.
Oh.
Excellent.
Okay. Planning office.
I just wanted the board to know that, now that Mary Ellen is helping us out, I'm able to start getting out of the office and attending more meetings, doing the planning as Tilly referred to. And I attended on September 24th a meeting over at Merrimack Valley for the Merrimack Valley, the Merrimack Planning Organization, which is each municipality has a commissioner and has a representative that's part of the planning organization, and we just get together and talk about what's gonna happen in Merrimack Valley, what funding is going on, who's doing what and where, so if it's successful, we'll start being able to attend more of them. And it's gonna be important because you need to attend these meetings to see how the Transportation Improvement Program funding and state funding and everything else is going, so we can get our hands into what's available to start being able to do some studies in town.
It's
The rail trail's on the tip, right?
And rail trails on the tip, gotta maintain representation for that.
Yeah, it's so important for you to, somebody from the town, you know, to attend those, because it just, you have to do the networking to let
Oh,
them
yeah.
know Georgetown is here.
Yeah.
You know, give us some pittance, like these big cities. Speaking of pity,
And I'll just remind that I'm the primary, but Bob Watts is the alternate.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, there was a little fiasco that night, I remember.
Fiasco, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't call it a fiasco.
It was a fiasco. I simply wouldn't call it a fiasco. Thank you very much. I've been railroaded.
We've already
before.
touched on the planning board consideration of rules and procedures. We'll get into that in a detailed agenda item
Yeah.
later.
I wanted to ask about the two reports. Chairman's report, that's not you, Chairman.
Now, that's
That's,
the chairman of the MPO.
okay, and this was a report for the month of September?
Yeah.
Um,
And we take, the MPO takes the summer off. They just always have a quorum issue. So, the chairman's report, I mean, you're reviewing warrants for June, July, and August, and so the chairman's report is actually for the previous 4 months.
Is there, and, I'm sorry.
MPO, Merrimack Planning Office?
The MPO is the Merrimack Planning Organization,
Organization.
which is, all the different commissioners of the 14 municipalities in the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission.
Got it.
I'm wondering if there's any, like a high level, tweet level, short summary of any details. I mean, in terms of the executive director's report on September 18th, bus on shoulder study. Boy, that means nothing to me. What is a bus on shoulder?
yeah, that whole report is just a synopsis of what he attended, but all through the year, that's taken place, not.
Yeah, and this was July 8th,
Yeah.
staff and I met with.
And if you went, I mean, even though Howard makes it, there's nothing stopping you from going as an alternate.
Nothing,
They're all
him,
public
no.
hearings.
not a thing.
yeah.
Only yourself.
Only life itself,
Really?
You know,
and traffic, and
if
family,
your wife doesn't
and work.
cook supper for you, you can get a pizza over at Merrimack
I'll
Valley.
just stop off on my way home from.
There's a great Kentucky Fried right around the corner.
But those are good. They have good speakers. You'll enjoy it. I mean,
I-
usually you get state people coming down.
You know, Tilly, it sounds like something that you would
No,
love.
I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't.
no? Tell me about it.
I'm phasing out, Bob.
I'm wondering what is bus on shoulder?
Where are you looking?
This is, 1, 2, 3, third bullet down in the executive director's report of September 18th.
Chairman's report,
Bus on shoulder.
commission meeting.
I didn't make it up. I mean, it's on July 8th, staff and I
How
met
could you
with
make that up?
a couple of
How could
senators.
you
I'm not
possibly
that
make
clever.
that up?
We advocated the senator set up a meeting with Secretary
I-
Davy to
well,
consider a pilot.
Under, I've got the chairman's report
And
and
the next
commission
page.
meeting, executive
That's it.
director's report.
Yeah,
Third bullet on that
and the
one.
third bullet on
Third.
that one. Do you, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do you happen to know what that is?
Shoulders for buses, shoulders for buses. Oh,
Something to do for something.
It's about, investigating, for a section of I-93, the similar thing that was done on
Oh.
128-95,
Got
where they
it.
convert the shoulder to a bus-only lane.
Got it, yep.
To see if that helps facilitate.
During rush hour and that kind of stuff.
Travel
Yep,
hours.
Yep,
Have fewer children, that's what'll help there.
yeah.
All right.
Thanks. I didn't mean to be.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a
Yes, sir.
motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made to adjourn, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded to adjourn, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks.